All right, we are given a two-column proof where we are also told that A and B are parallel lines and C and D are parallel lines. And from this, we have to show the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 11 is 180. Whenever you're dealing with two-column proofs, you take what you're given, allow that to formulate some kind of game plan in your mind, and probably make yourself a rough draft before you actually get started. So you take what you have and you kind of allow yourself to go from point A to point B. Okay, and find a way to connect these two. Now, if I look at 2 and 11, they're not connected. I need to find a way to connect 2 and 11. So I'm going to make myself a little game plan here. And step number 1 is going to be given. Always given. I'm not touching this yet. I'm not there. So let's try to get from 2 to 11 somehow. So I can take the fact that 2 and 10, for example, 2 and 10 are congruent because they correspond. Since C and D are parallel, 2 and 10 are equal because they correspond. Can I get from 10 to 11? Not really, but what I can do is I can go from 10 to 11. I could say that since C and B are parallel, I can say that 10 plus 11 is 180. And that's because the interior same side angles add up to 180. So since 2 is 10, I can finish this out in one more step by saying, since 2 is 10, why don't we replace that 10 with 2 and say 2 plus 11 equals 180, and that is by substitution. I'm done. All right, so I am going to now complete this two-column proof with this information and make it look a lot prettier. And, of course, using all the appropriate symbols, because in my rough draft, in my mind, I don't really care about the symbols as long as I know what I'm doing. So A is parallel to B, C is parallel to D, and the reason for that is because it's given. Always, always, always start out with your given statement. What was 2? 2 was 2 is equal to 11, 10, I mean. So we're going to say that the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 10. And once again, that's because 2 and 10 were corresponding angles and C and D were parallel. So we could say the definition of corresponding angles. Use symbols. You're allowed to. What color did I use next? Green. 3. We said in 3 that 10 and 11 are the same. No, they're not. 10 plus 11 is 180. The measure of angle 10 plus the measure of angle 11 is 180 degrees, and that's because interior same side angles are supplementary. Last but not least, now that I know that 2 is 10, I can replace that 10 with 2 and say the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 11 equals 180 degrees, and that's using the substitution property. So when given a bunch of parallel lines, use that. You're going to use words like interior angles or alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, corresponding, same side, supplementary. You're going to use all of that to your advantage. And from there, we were only able to do this in 4 steps. So not so bad. I'll take it.